Hi, you guys. Okay, Snowfall Season 4, Episode 1. Franklin, it looked like he's getting back in the groove of things after being shot up by Melanie. And it looks like Melanie sent him a birthday card. It says something like, it's been a crazy couple months between us, but I had to send you a birthday card like I always do. Well, Melanie, you should have told Franklin suck your ass through a straw. He killed your damn daddy. Franklin goes down to Louis' bar. Louis looking fine as ever, looking like money. Isn't it funny how the tables turn? Just a while ago, that was Claudia's bar, and she was talking to Louis like shit, talking down to her and shit. You just never know. Louis has been doing Franklin book work. And Jerome has been doing the distribution, and Leon has been holding it down in the streets. Lloyd catches Franklin up on everything. He tells him with the increase in violence that people are scared, and more product coming through the border means more competition. The sole reason that they're on top right now is because of his deal with Reed. She warns Franklin, any change in price or purity, we got a problem. Franklin thanks them for holding it down while he was recovering. And Jerome says, shit, it's been damn right hazardous out here. And it's not smart going to this funeral today. Franklin reads the room and he said, you know what, if y'all want to sit this out, I understand. Franklin is attending the funeral of one of Scully's guys. And off the rip, Scully psycho ass asked Franklin, how hard you think it was to get that Jesus nigga to stay on the cross? Sir, what? Franklin gives his condolence and he tells Scully, this shit is out of hand with you and Man-Boy. Is there anything that we can do to squash the beef? Scully said, Man-Boy is the problem. He keep running his bitch ass mouth. Scully tells Franklin he gives no fuck about Man-Boy being his girl brother and that he's going to kill every one of them Compton motherfuckers and whoever gets in his fucking way. Franklin then goes see Man-Boy and asks the same thing. Man-Boy tells Franklin, Scully came after us. Everyone knows he's crazy. And shit, this is what happens. This shit is on him. You're going to need to keep that suit you got on handy, because if they come back at us, we putting them niggas in the ground. Later that night, Franklin and his new bodyguard, Larp said don't come for his name. He got it in Vietnam. He was in a long-range wrecking patrol, and the name just stuck. They're off to see Reed. He has been hearing about the gang wars, and he asked Franklin if he tried to talk some sense into them. Franklin like, shit, is a witch's titty cold? Franklin said to Reed, I was hoping that you or your people can help us straighten this out before it get out of control. Reed said, I'm sorry, some things is just out of my control. He tells Franklin to pick the lesser of the two evils. You supply them both. Back the side that will most benefit you and try to maintain control. Okay, we got this new character. It's a reporter, Irene, and she has been looking for Melanie ever since she got low for shooting up Franklin. I don't know if you want to go down this rabbit hole, Irene. Irene's assistant finds a location on Melanie. Okay, next up we have Reed and Gustavo, and they're in Mexico doing a drop, and they get pulled over by the police. At first, Reed tells the police, we had to deal with Chief Kala. The Popo said, well, Chief Kala no longer works with us. Then Reed said, well, okay, you're not working with Chief Kala, but how about I, share some of this with you? And he flashes a couple dollars. The police said, no, we still have to check your truck. So they get on the truck and they find bricks of cocaine. They arrest Reed and Gustavo. Franklin goes on down to the projects to see Leon, who was in the house fucking on some bitch. He must have been putting it on her because you can hear her up the damn street. Franklin is trying to get Leon to come on in and help resolve this thing between Man-Boy and Scully. And Leon like, nope. The best thing to do is stay out them niggas' way and be glad they not coming for us. Franklin said, yeah, you right and all, but yesterday, it was like 5 people that died and they wasn't even in no gang. Sooner or later, it's going to trickle down to us and our family, our neighborhoods. Leon tells Franklin We already here. That's the cost of doing business. There's too much money for the take, and niggas is too desperate. What's coming is certain as Jesus on Sunday, my nigga. Franklin says to Leon, so is that why you refuse to do business with Louis? I'm back now and everything, and I need you. Leon on some other shit. He was like, I got these projects to manage, business to run. I can't leave all that just to ride you around. Leon and Franklin is growing apart. We've been seeing it in last season. While Franklin was down in recovery, Leon probably had to find other things to do, other things to keep him occupied. He always ran the projects, but he was always at Franklin begging and call. Leon is a real one. He a rider. Sometimes I think Franklin do take him for granted. I think sometimes Franklin look at Leon like some wild ass street nigga who won't evolve. I think Franklin is loyal to Leon, but he treats Leon like a gopher sometimes. Like now, for instance, he needs Leon to diffuse this beef. When it comes to street politics, Leon is that nigga. And Franklin know this shit. Franklin asks Leon, will he be at Louis on New Year's Eve? And Leon said he'll think about it. Okay, down to the jailhouse in Tijuana. The police chief has Ree and Gustavo brought in, and Gustavo is not feeling that shit. You know how he is with his vibes. If he ain't feeling you, he don't fuck with you. He doesn't want to take a seat. Reed, with his rambling ass, tries to explain that they had a deal with Chief Kala. And the new chief said, you did not have a deal with Chief Kala. Well, you might have had a deal, but it wasn't a fair one. He didn't fully understand the scope of the opportunities ahead for Tijuana and its people. That's the reason he's not sitting here today. He tells them that he's going to have his people take them back to their truck, and it's going to be in the condition that they found it. They will be escorted to wherever they want to go, and then they're going to have to come up with a price that they can pay the Tijuana police to stay off their back. Ree and Gustavo going back to the house, and Gustavo's cousin, I forgot his name, so that's why I'm calling him his cousin, the guy in the wheelchair. He said they arrest y'all so they can go through the truck and see exactly how much money you guys are bringing in. Gustavo said, well, we just going to have to pay him what he want. We can't afford the risk to say no. Okay, over at Manboy's trap spot. And one of his boys over there putting shit in his ear like, Franklin back, but fuck Franklin. He weak as shit. He's soft. Manboy said, I wouldn't underestimate Franklin. He's still smart. I think Manboy is kind of smart as well. I think he's a strategizer. He sit back, watch shit, peep shit, take notes. Oh yeah, that's how I do it. I wouldn't be surprised if later on down the line, Manboy comes up, like all the way up. So a little Shorty come through, and this girl, she looks like the one that played the little young cookie on Empire. Let me know if that's her. She's hollering at the boy that was talking all that shit. And she want to see what he about. She want to take him somewhere. And she asks, also, Manboy, she like, you should come along too. Manboy said, nah, I can't do it, Shorty. Maybe next time. So homeboy and the girl creeps off somewhere, and she start giving him head. And it's getting good. He closed his eyes and put his head back, and all of a sudden you hear a nigga say, peekaboo, nigga. The next morning at a baseball field, a little boy discovers his body tied to a fence in the position of a crucifix. Crazy ass Scully. This is getting a little bit much for Franklin, so he calls a meeting with himself, Louis, Peaches, and Jerome. At this point, all of them are saying the same thing. It's just out of control, and it's fucking up the business. Franklin said, look, we have to pick a side, Manboy or Scully. Get one to set up the other. We ambush them and clear the bodies out. Louis said, you thinking about a massacre? Franklin said, no, I'm talking about taking a few lives to save many. Jerome said, shit, well, I choose Manboy over Scully crazy ass. Louis said, I get that Manboy is the obvious choice, but he always trying to test us, trying to take a territory, trying to find a better deal. He's smart and ambitious. And if you side with him this time and he does kill Scully, we gonna be next. Okay, next up, Reed. He's back in his office doing police work because you know he's a police-ass motherfucker. It's all fun and games until they get into that motherfucking courtroom. He takes all that as he gonna snitch on everybody. And he will be safe. It appears that Reed is now a co-core. Someone from Costa Rica calls and tells him that their ammunition never showed up. Rita's like, what do you mean it never showed up? He gives Ivy a call to see what the fuck is going on, why his guns has not showed up in Costa Rica. He had to leave a message because Ivy didn't answer. Franklin goes over to Scully's house to chop it up with him, and he brings over this big-ass guitar case with him. Scully said, that don't look like no re-up. Franklin unzipping the guitar case, and it's a big-ass gun in there. Franklin said, I want this war between you and Man-Boy to be done, and I want to help you. Like you said, Man-Boy don't respect shit. All he want is power and territory. You already got your soldiers, so all you need is this little bit of help. Scully said, I feel something. I feel like I'm in a pen and a nigga trying to sneak up behind me and take something. You feel that, Khadijah? You feel like you about to get fucked? Khadijah said, and both hoes. Franklin said, you know what? I'm sorry. Do what y'all gotta do. I was just trying to help. So Scully stops him. He like, how many of those can you get? Franklin tells him, you can get as many as you want. You know, he tells them the price, and he tells them that, you know, his Israeli friend gonna hook him up. He can come along if he wanted to. Scully told Franklin, okay, cool, you got a deal. But if you play me, I'm gonna send every nigga I know to fuck your world up. Franklin better not play with Scully. He best to not. Franklin goes on over to see Man-Boy, and he does the same exact thing. Now I'm like, Franklin, what the fuck are you doing? He tells Man-Boy that he wants the war to be over and he wants to help him. Franklin said he'll bring Scully and his folks out and Man-Boy can ambush them. Franklin is laying it on thick, talking about how Inglewood is going to change. And also he throws in there how Man-Boy can get revenge for Bootsy. Man-Boy said, how the fuck I know you ain't lying? Franklin said, you don't, but just take a ride with me. I'm going to show you. Okay, next, Reed runs into Ivy all the way in Argentina. Reed said, Ivy, I know you're not on vacation while my guns and shit is missing. Ivy said, this is not vacation. He is looking for a Nazi who was in charge of 3 death camps in Poland, and he executed hundreds. Reed asks, are you serious? Ivy said, I'm always serious when it comes down to the greatest enemy that the Jewish people knew. Reed is like, the guns, Ivy. Ivy tells him, you have to just hang on for a minute. It gets crazy down in customs. Tells Reed that he's going to send his boy first thing in the morning. Reed said, Ivy, that's why I pay you good money to make sure that you fix the problems. And I'm going to need you to go on that plane to find out personally what's going on with them guns. Ivy said, I trust Leo with my life. Like, it'll be fine. So Leo asks Reed, like, you got a problem with me? You think that I can't handle that? Reed said, I don't even know who the fuck you are, man. I just don't think you can hear that well. Leo said, I have excellent fucking hearing. Reed said, okay, all right. Bam! Do you hear me now? Ivy like, what the fuck are you doing, Reed? What the fuck? Reed goes over to Ivy and he said, I don't know how much more clear I need to be, but I need to know where my guns are, and I want you to find out and let me know soon as you do. Okay, it's New Year's Eve, and Sissy and Alton is playing Monopoly. They are enjoying each other. They're getting back to old things, and I like it. Franklin wants them to come on down to Louis. He like, it'll be a new year, fresh start, bury the old hatchet. Sissy said, you just make sure you keep yourself safe. Sissy and Alton is not about that life. They were Black Panthers. Yes, Alton fell victim to alcohol, but it's all the things he went through during his time in the Black Panther Party. And remember, he said he had to kill his own cousin. That's enough to make you an alcoholic. And Sissy still can't believe the man that Franklin has became. He worked hard and tried to steer Franklin in the right direction. But like Louis told her in a previous season, Sissy working long hours and a bitch-ass boss and still can't make ends meet. That too made Franklin go out in these streets. It's like a double-edged sword. Okay, next we going down to Louis' club. They have the music jumping. Reed and Gustavo is in the building tonight. Franklin spots his first in the club, Tanance. He said, I shouldn't be surprised to see you up in here. You're always at the right spot. You look good and everything. And Tanance said, thanks, you do too. But I heard some things. The kid who was prep school bound took 3 bullets. I never thought it would be you in the game. Leon comes through the club and Tanance said, oh, I remember him. I'm glad to see y'all still cool. It's important to keep them real niggas close. Message. Now, when Leon gets inside and he's surveying the building and he see Gustavo sitting at that bitch, he wants slapped the fuck off. He asks Gustavo, what the fuck you doing in here? Gustavo said, I was invited. Leon said, by who? Here comes Franklin, by the family. So they take it to the back and Leon is murking the fuck out. Do I need to remind you what this motherfucker responsible for? Kevin is dead because of him. Franklin said, nah, Kevin is dead because he didn't listen. Leon said, no, fuck that. And he pointed a gun at Gustavo's head. They went behind our back and offered money to Kevin for that fucking recipe. How the fuck you gonna do business with him like nothing happened? Franklin said, if you pay a fucking attention, you would know that we've been doing business with him for months. Leon said, who the fuck you think you talking to? When you was down, what do you think happened? Everyone tried to take out territory. Who the fuck you think kept him back? Louis? Jerome and his fucking speakers? Nope, it was me and my motherfucking crew. And instead of gratitude, you want me to embrace this motherfucker? Louis said, Leon, put the gun down. And Leon had enough. He said, shut the fuck up, Louis. Like I said, Leon been down for Franklin since day one, even before they started fucking selling drugs. When Franklin went on missions and shit, Leon was right by his side. So I feel where Leon is coming from. Franklin is trying to calm Leon down. He's like, look, this is about business. And Leon clicked that gun back. He said, no, it's about what's right. Franklin going to stand in front of Gustavo. So now the gun is pointing at him. And Leon is like, nigga, are you for real? Franklin asks Gustavo and Reed to leave. You know, he needs time with his boy. Leon tells Franklin that he's lost and Money got his head fucked up. Or maybe he was fucked up from the beginning. Franklin tells Leon, I thought with me being hurt would make you grow up and stop acting like a fucking child. You're going to get yourself killed. And I'm not going to be laying in the bed at night thinking that I didn't try to set you straight. Leon tells Franklin, fuck you, I'm done with you. Franklin said, fine nigga, find your own plug. Leon said, cool, you just stay the fuck out my way. I don't like this shit. I'm not feeling it. They need to make up. Irene, the reporter, goes all the way down to Texas to see Melanie. She tells Aunt Bernice that she's a reporter with the Herald Examiner. Aunt Bernice said, in Odessa? Irene said, no, in L.A. I heard about your brother, Sergeant Andre Wright. Aunt Bernice said, I don't want to hear nothing about this. And she goes to shut the door and Irene says, please, I drove a long way. And Aunt Bernice said, well, you better drive back. And Melanie appears and she is drug free. And that's of narcotics. She tells Aunt Bernice, it's okay, you can let her in. Melanie is now on something else, religion, heavy. They all sit down and Irene said, I appreciate this. I know you've been through a lot and I'm not here to cause any problems. Melody said, it doesn't matter. The Lord Justice will be served as he see fit. All we can do is be pure of our heart. Irene said, amen. Okay, girl. Irene tells Melanie that she covered her father's story. And she also was looking into when Franklin got shot. Aunt Bernice said she does not know anything about that. Didn't Franklin tell you that? Irene said, I'm not saying that she did, but it's still questions that needs to be answered. And I'm like, what the fuck, Irene? Are you a detective? Irene wants to know why did Andre did what he did and who shot Franklin and why. Melanie asks her, why does she care? Irene said, well, I grew up in the Crenshaw district. I raised my daughter there and it's changing. I'm scared because I don't understand why. And I think you know why. If you help me, I can tell the story. And telling the story will make people pay attention. Melanie said, it's not your place to stop what the Lord intends. It's like she's in a trance. And she may be very much so. Everything that she just went through was very traumatic. Irene said, with all due respect, Melanie, the Lord didn't break Watergate. I guess Watergate was the current event of this time. It was with the Reagan administration. The Watergate scandal was crazy. Y'all should check that out. Melanie said he guided them. Irene said, well, God damn it. Maybe the Lord sent me here, Melanie. Okay, it's wartime and everybody is getting prepared. Everybody, Man Boy and his goons getting their ammunition together. And so is Scully and his goons. And we still don't know for sure whose side Franklin chose. And Franklin is preparing as well. He took his oxys. Mind you, he's still on the cane, limping from the first damn injury. And this fool done put himself in the goddamn middle of a war. He grabbed his beeper, he got his gun on his hip, and he's out the door. And his father stops out and said, "You going out for a bite to eat, huh?" "Oh, okay, cool. But tell me, is that a 38 or a 45 on your waist?" Alton says to Franklin, "You know what? I was thinking about putting that VCR to use today and popping one of the movies that you used to always like back in the day. Those karate movies. I remember you used to beg us to take you to see the movie, and by the time you get home, you be chopping all the goddamn shit up around here. You, Kevin, and Leon." Alton is just going down memory lane, trying to get his son to just, sit back, chill out today. I feel like Alton approach is very appropriate, being as though him and Franklin really wasn't getting along at first. So he can't come to him like, "Boy, you better sit your ass down." He came from an angle of love and concern because he is his father. But also at the same time, he recognized that Franklin is his own man. Alton says, "So what do you say, son? I pop the movie in. I pop some popcorn. It'll be like old times." With Alton going down memory lane, it has Franklin a little teary-eyed. He goes over to his father, give him a hug, and he tells him thank you. And he walks out the door. I don't know what Franklin is going to do. He doesn't even have Leon with him. And that's where the episode ends. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.